thanks for coming out to hear me this morning. Again, my name is Jennifer Hancock, and I'm the current Executive Director for the Humanist of Florida Association, and I say current because I am stepping aside. I have a 1-year-old child, and I want to stay part-time so that I can be with them, so the organization is going to be hiring an additional staff person who will be Executive Director. I'll still be involved to be doing outreach and the things that I enjoy doing for humanism. The Humanist of Florida Association is the largest state association for humanism in the country. Believe it or not, Florida is a hotbed for humanist activism. I know it doesn't seem like that, but it is. Our motto at the Humanist of Florida Association is reason and compassion in action. Our focal issues are education, scientific literacy, democracy, and community. And before I start my talk, I want to just do a really quick, what is humanism, just in case some of you aren't aware of it, because it's not unusual. Humanism is a progressive philosophy of life that basically is the study of what it means to be a good human being. And it speaks to our ability and responsibility to make the world a better place for all of us to live. And human agency is one of the cornerstones of the philosophy. That's why our motto is not just reason, and not just reason and compassion, but reason and compassion in action. You might be wondering why a humanist is in front of a Unitarian Universalist congregation talking to them about the future of humanism. There's several reasons. The first is that Unitarian Universalists are predominantly humanist, at least in the philosophic sense. And there are changes happening right now in humanism, academically, philosophically, socially, and in its activism forms. And these changes are impacting how the average human being thinks of themselves as human. It's not an understatement, really, to say that the future of humanity depends on what the future of humanism ends up being. Humanism is being discussed and debated across the globe. Its applicability, I did a very quick search on Google News last week on humanism, and found that activists in Kyrgyzstan are discussing the applicability of humanism to their current events. Whether or not they should abolish the death penalty is a question of humanism for them. You find the same discussions occurring in India and in Pakistan. All across the globe, people are recognizing that humanism is playing a role. It's the most dynamic force for social change on the planet, and yet Americans remain very unaware not only what humanism is, but what it means and how it impacts their daily lives. The changes that are happening in humanism, in all its forms, are quite literally changing our consciousness, our global consciousness, for the better. And yes, there are setbacks. There are people that are very angry. There are people that are clinging to very dogmatic traditions and will not and cannot allow for free thought to take place in their communities. And I'm at that point speaking about the Arab lands, because free thought, blasphemy, you get it. For this talk, I want to cover what changes are happening now. I'm not going to talk too much about the past of humanism, because that was the talk 2 years ago. I also want to talk about what these changes mean in tangible form, and why the average person should care about them. I am going to do a very quick refresher on where we have come from in the West, just in case you weren't here 2 years ago to hear the talk on what has humanism done for you lately. The first thing that's very important to understand is that humanism arises in every culture and in every time, because it arises from human compassion. Anywhere you have people that are compassionate, you will find a form of humanism in some shape or form. It might not be as fully actualized as it is in the West at the moment, where we're calling it humanism. But if people are coming to wherever they're coming from compassion, it's going to look a lot like humanism. You find humanism in the teachings of Buddha and Confucius in Asia. And in that sense, it's been practiced for millennia in Asia. You find humanism in Africa and across Arabia and throughout South America. When you do a search on humanism in South America, you find that they're political parties. Everywhere you go, you will find that there is a humanist tradition in that culture, even if it calls itself by another name. For Westerners, the form of humanism we have been practicing is called Western humanism. And it grew out of the Renaissance, thankfully because of our Arab counterparts. And it led to the Renaissance, the Reformation, and ultimately the Enlightenment. But it was only in the 1930s that humanists started organizing humanist clubs and started to identify themselves as individuals, as humanists. And this has happened predominantly in America and Europe. You're starting to see people label themselves as humanists across the globe and call their traditions humanist because it's actually a very good term for them. But it is a global phenomenon, and it didn't originate in the West. It originates everywhere that there are human beings. So, what's happening now? The main change that's happening right now is that humanism is internationalizing. We're expanding our understanding of the philosophy and incorporating the practice of humanism from elsewhere in the world, because humanism is not practiced the same way everywhere in the world. This is a very exciting time to be a humanist and be a part of the humanist movement. The world is literally getting smaller. Well, not literally, okay, but figuratively speaking, getting smaller. And this is affecting all areas of humanism. It's affecting the arts, the humanities, education, and even the food we eat is being internationalized. I mean, think back. 20 years ago, did you get Thai food in your neighborhood? You can now. Granted, not everyone in our society is globalizing their perspective. They're not taking advantage of the opportunities that are being given to us in this globalized society. We now have the opportunity to purchase books from around the world. A lot of books are being translated into different languages. Our music choices, we now have the ability to get music from anywhere in the world. And while not everyone is taking advantage of these opportunities to globalize their perspective, a lot of people are. And this is a really excellent development. Organized humanism is also globalizing its perspective, because we now have greater access to our counterpart humanists from around the globe, and there are activist humanist communities around the world. And as we learn about what people in Nepal are doing, and what people in India are doing, and what people in Asia are doing, and what people in South America are doing, it informs us better, like what are we doing, and how can we improve what we're doing. And what's coming out of this long-distance education is a better understanding of the need to integrate our individual practice of humanism into a more holistic practice. Humanists everywhere share some common traits regardless of what they call their practice. Because humanism, regardless of its origins, is really just the study of what it means to be a good human being.